Hello, everyone, and welcome back. And today I'm going to be talking about World of Darkness and a little tiny bit about Call of Cthulhu, mainly because I haven't played that much of them. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So for Call of Cthulhu, I'm going to talk about that one first because, like I said, I think I played one game. I may have played another one, but I barely remember it. Um, I'm just going to talk about the good parts about Call of Cthulhu because I didn't get far enough in to uh, make anything bad about it. Um, so Call of Cthulhu uh, is kind of like a horror game for me, at least as far as what I played. It it has a lot to do about your sanity in that game. If you see a lot of scary crap and you're a human, um, then you will die pretty fast. So that brings a very good element into the game for me. I'll get into that element later on whenever I'm talking about World of Darkness because it kind of has the same thing. But this was the first game, well, not first game, because D&D has a lot of fear elements in it as well. But this is the first game that I actually felt like I was in a horror movie compared to playing a kind of upbeat, kind of Lord of the Rings kind of vibe game from the get go. Because Lord of the Rings has a serious tone to it later on, but at the beginning, it's a hobbit having a good time in his little town, and then he goes out on this grand adventure. That's kind of how D&D feels to me. I might come up with a character that has kind of a sad backstory, but at the beginning, it's kind of like being in the Shire all over again, and that's one lovely part about it. But I'm not going to talk about D&D too much because I talked about it a lot in my last video. But in Call of Cthulhu, you feel like you're in this dark, rainy, kind of scary vibe instantly. You don't know what's going to happen and you don't know what's going on because your character is not supposed to know there's monsters. So if you're not trying to metagame or anything like that, your character is oblivious to monsters. It's just like if you don't believe in ghosts and you don't believe in monsters in real life, it's like that. And then you see a monster in real life and you're like, what the heck is that? And it scares the crap out of your character, and that's how you're supposed to kind of feel playing this game. Um, and that's what I like about it. That was a really cool game. It's a shame that we didn't get to play it that much. The character creation wasn't that hard because you didn't have a whole bunch of things to pick from. You were like a human. That's pretty much it. You are a human, and you can pick your careers. You can have. That's a big part of it. You can have careers in this game that you're playing compared to a lot of role playing games where you can have a career, but it's like the adventure is going to take it over eventually. Um, so yeah, it was a really cool game. Uh, it was a shame that we only got to play like one or two sessions of it, but it was awesome while it lasted. Now going over to World of Darkness, this game, like any role playing game, can be set in any time period pretty much, but for the most part, I've played both of those in the modern day setting, which for me is not exactly where I want to be. I'd rather be in a fairy tale kind of medieval time, armor and all that good stuff. Uh, but it's still all right. It's not as bad as some people say it is. I know some people think like Hunter is god awful abomination of a game. I'm not going to mention any game. I mean any names. But there's some people that just think it is horrible. But if you play your characters right in any game, and you pick out what you want to be, or if your dungeon master rolls it for you, even if you play your character right, any game's a good game, pretty much in my eyes. Uh, there are certain things that you might prefer differently from other games, but in general, if you can play a good game and you have a good group, then it's a good game. Or play a good character and you have a good group, you can have a good game. Now, as far as World of Darkness goes, all I've played so far is a vampire, which I haven't played too much of that, and a werewolf, or in my case, I played a werefox, uh, which were both pretty fun. Like one of my vampire characters, was kind of like Beetlejuice almost. He had the same kind of like accent as Beetlejuice. I don't even know how I came up with it, but the live action Beetlejuice was kind of like what he sounded like, and he was like mean and nasty and stuff like that. And that's generally not how I play my characters. But and then you can be hunters. This is just what I've played. I'm sure there's a million other things that you can be, but just what I played is Hunter, which is you're playing as a human that gets kind of special powers where they can um, see monsters for what they really are and stuff like that. It's kind of like playing Sam and Dean from Supernatural, which if you like that is pretty fun. Now there's also vampires that you know the general gist of a vampire, and then there's werewolves. So I'm gonna go ahead and start out with Hunter. Playing a Hunter, to me, just because I have never played a Hunter past the beginning, which is I'm sure a shame. Um, I've wanted to play more Hunter, but either I get killed or they leave my character in the dust or whatever. Stuff happens. Um, but it's a shame that I didn't get to play more. Hopefully, I can later on. But as far as what I've played, they are way too squishy for me. They can die within like if you encounter one enemy, they can kill you in the first game, which sucks. But if you're playing like it all depends on your group again. So if you're playing with a group that I play as, the people know who they are. Where I like to roleplay, I like to go in there and I like to uh, be like, hey, I'm, whatever the character's name is, and let's go ahead and talk about this real fast. And if it comes down to it, we can fight about it. I don't really like the doing a lot of fighting if I don't have to. Obviously, if you encounter an evil demon that doesn't even speak English, you're going to end up fighting eventually. But playing with a group that I play with, it's inevitable. There's going to be a fight. One of us is going to die, and probably the first few missions that we do, first few quests, whatever you want to call them, and one of us is going to die. The other two might leave, but they're not leaving with everything intact. They're probably going to be disemboweled and barely breathing. So that's just a group that I play with, and I have to kind of um, adapt to that, and play it in a different way, than what I usually like to do. Like whenever I'm making my character, it's total different gameplay. Like I made a vampire, and he was from I don't remember what year, but whatever year uh, New Orleans was first being established. That's when I made my character. He was a gator hunter that brought back pelts and gator meat and stuff like that with his family. And so yeah, he was just a normal old Joe, and he had this long drawn out backstory and everything like that. And then he gets bit by a vampire. I think he gets bit by a vampire or something like that. And so I had like this blood frenzy. Sorry, but I had this blood frenzy where I went through town and I was like tearing up everybody. And keep in mind, this character had a wife. Well, I wanted to go check on my wife, make sure she was okay. And this guy was a hardcore Christian too, so it made it very hard because he saw vampires as like demon, freaking horrible people. So, anyways, that's kind of beside the point. Um, he goes into town and he's uh, tearing everybody to pieces because it was getting ransacked by some random people. And I go in there and I see two people like about to get my wife. So I go in there and I kill both of them. I think I drank some of the blood off of one of them, and my wife sees it and she goes crazy. She is calling me a monster, all kinds of stuff. She wants me killed, so I had to run away. So all that happened in that short backstory, and then after the backstory is over, I go and join up with my group eventually, and then like I don't remember which character they were playing as, but one of my characters or one of my players was like he always is. We call him call it being slothy, where you play this guy that's gung ho. He goes into everything and he blows them to pieces. And that's just what he likes to play. And so here's this hardcore like Christian guy that turned into a vampire. He's been wandering around for years and everything, and he's kind of like trying to keep the peace. He's eating nothing but animal blood and everything like that. And then he meets this character that's not so much like him. So there's nothing wrong with playing with variations, because that's what makes the game what it is. Any role playing game. If there's not somebody to headbutt with, it's kind of like on Naruto. If it wasn't for Sasuke and Naruto, then the story plot would be boring. You know. So we always keep it spicy. uh, but as far as World of Darkness goes, um, like I said, hunters are kind of squishy for me. Playing vampire has been pretty fun so far. That's what I mostly have played as. So it's been pretty fun so far, and can't really complain about it. Can't I can't really remember because it's been a long time since I played any World of Darkness. But the most recent game that I played was my favorite animal is a fox, so I wanted to be a werefox, and the DM was kind enough to make it happen. And I was playing like this teenager that was just becoming a werewolf, and he was having a hard time, and his friend was him and his friend hung out all the time, which was uh, one of the players, and I worked at Hot Topic, and like the story behind it was really fun. It was a really fun game where like I worked at Hot Topic, some crazy antics went on there and stuff like that, and you know, like I don't remember. I remember I had to like I was getting a girl's number and all kinds of stuff like that. Um, but my character was an orphan too, so yeah. Anyways, World of Darkness is fun to a point, but I don't want to play it all the time. Um, just like anything, if you play it too much, you get tired of it. Uh, so I mean, if you like modern day stuff or you like darker stuff, play World of Darkness. But if you would rather play something a little bit more light-hearted, play play D&D. And this is my opinion. This is just how all the games have been for me. All the lighthearted stuff goes to D&D. All the more dark stuff that somebody in your group's gonna die, and you know it. You just don't know who yet and when. Um, that's more World of Darkness style. Both of them are fun. Don't get me wrong. I just prefer one over the other. So, but like I say about any game, literally any uh, role playing game is fun if you have a good group, a good DM, and you guys can keep it nice and civil and stay on track. That's the main thing. If you can't do any of those, then the game's gonna be crap, and you'll never want to play any of the games ever again. So that's the main thing, and you can't be mean to the other players or anything like that. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much everything that I have to say about those two games. If we have any games with me, uh, eventually I'll start doing kind of like a uh, kind of my side of the story, kind of take of the games, and hopefully we won't have to make too many characters because everybody knows that that is my least favorite thing to do in the world. Um, but until next time, guys, as always, stay beautiful, stay sexy, stay chefy. I love you guys, and good night.